There are places on Earth where every voyage is a gamble with one's life. Off the coast of Alaska and the Bering Sea, waves are over 50 feet high. Water temperatures range from 32 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and storms can sink an entire ship. Yet, the fishermen continue to go out to sea. Because beneath the octopus on the planet, just about 6 tons harvested each season can bring in up to $900,000. So, what makes the giant Pacific octopus such a treasure of the ocean? And why are fishermen still willing to venture into dangerous waters to hunt for it? Go discover. How harvesting 6 tons of giant octopus in deadly seas generates $900,000. But behind the nearly $900,000 lies a harsh truth. To hunt these giants at the bottom of the sea, fishermen must gamble with their lives, and the ocean doesn't always give them a second chance. In February 2022, the Spanish fishing vessel Villa de Pitancho sank off the cold waters near Newfoundland after encountering extreme weather. Of the 24 crew members, only 3 survived, making this one of Spain's most serious fishing tragedies in decades. No one knows exactly what happened in the final moments, but the accident reminded the world of an unchanging truth. The ocean always decides who will return. Yet, even after such tragedies, thousands of ships continue to leave port every season. Not because they love the risk, but because beneath those icy waters lies one of the ocean's most valuable treasures. A creature that can weigh over 150 pounds, with an arm span of over 20 feet, and just its 6 tons is worth nearly $900,000. That's the giant Pacific octopus. But to understand why just 6 tons of octopus could generate nearly $900,000 in value, we first need to meet the main character of the story. Hidden beneath the frigid waters of the North Pacific lies the giant Pacific octopus, the largest known octopus on the planet. They live solitary lives in rocky caves at depths of several tens to hundreds of feet, where sunlight barely reaches. An adult can weigh over 150 pounds with 8 tentacles spanning over 20 feet, enough to cover a small car. Yet, this giant only lives for about 3 to 5 years, making each harvesting season incredibly valuable. Unlike many marine species that live in schools, giant Pacific octopus are solitary predators. During the day, they hide in dark crevices in rocks. When night falls, they silently leave their burrows to hunt crabs, shellfish, fish, and many other bottom-dwelling creatures. Surprisingly, these mysterious creatures living in the coldest and most dangerous seas generate an industry worth hundreds of thousands of dollars each season. And to bring that giant up from the ocean floor, the fishermen had to embark on a patient hunt where each trap dropped carried the hope of a reward worth nearly $900,000. Unlike any other hunt under the ocean, this hunt giant Pacific octopus, it didn't start with giant nets. It started with small ones, octopus pots. Heavy steel traps were lowered to the seabed, where the 8-tentacled giant was lurking in the shadows. Before setting sail, each trap is loaded with herring, cod, or other fresh fish as bait. They are then connected to a long line system thousands of feet long, consisting of dozens to hundreds of traps spaced at fixed intervals. When the ship reaches the right fishing grounds, the entire system is lowered to depths of approximately 200 to over 600 feet, where the water temperature is only 32 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and giant Pacific octopus typically inhabits reefs, crevices, and rough seabeds. After the marker buoys are dropped onto the water's surface, the wait begins. Unlike schooling fish, the giant Pacific octopus is a solitary predator. They follow the scent of bait carried by the cold ocean currents, slowly crawling out of their hiding places and into the trap to feed. After hours, sometimes 24 to 48 hours, the ship returns to harvest. Hydraulic winches begin pulling the entire long line from the seabed to the surface. One by one, the heavy steel traps break through the sea surface amidst the roar of the engines and the cold water splashing onto the deck. Hundreds of suction cups clung tightly to the cage walls with immense force, requiring multiple sailors to work together to get it out. That process is repeated dozens, even hundreds of times throughout the voyage. There are no high-speed chases or massive nets sweeping across the ocean. Only traps, bait, long-line systems, the captain's experience, and patience matter. Because in the hunt for the giant Pacific octopus, the reward doesn't go to the strongest, but to the one who understands the seabed and knows how to wait for the right moment. After hours, even days of waiting, the most anticipated moment finally arrives. The sound of hydraulic winches echoed as the long line was pulled from the seabed. One by one, the octopus pots surfaced, and no one knew whether inside were empty traps or a giant waiting to appear. Then, unexpectedly, gigantic tentacles emerged from the trap's mouth. A giant Pacific octopus weighing over 150 pounds and with a tentacle span exceeding 20 feet clung tightly to the steel wall with hundreds of suction cups. A single successful fishing trip can yield thousands of pounds of octopus, generating nearly $900,000 in value. And that's the reward for those who dare to gamble with the ocean. But even when the giant octopuses were brought aboard the ship, the hunt wasn't over. Approximate value $900,000 US. They are only truly created when they enter the processing line. Upon arrival at the port, the octopus is transported directly to the factory under continuously refrigerated conditions to maintain its freshness. Each animal passes through the conveyor belt one by one, is washed with cold water to remove sand and impurities, before workers sort them by size, weight, and quality. Afterward, they undergo a final cleaning and are packaged whole or pre-processed according to market requirements. Every link in the chain must function precisely, because even a few hours delay in storage, transportation, or processing can lead to a decline in quality and a sharp drop in commercial value. After a few hours, the quality of the fish meat begins to change. The color, texture, and flavor gradually diminish over time, and a regular batch can amount to thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. The next step is quick freezing. This helps preserve the meat structure and flavor immediately after it's caught. Finally, Each product is vacuum sealed, packed into specialized refrigerated containers, and stored in a warehouse before being loaded onto container trucks or ships for shipment to Japan, South Korea, the United States, and many other high-end seafood markets around the world. The amazing thing is, the value of this industry doesn't lie in quantity, it lies in quality. Only 6 tons octopus that meets export standards can also generate significant revenue, $900,000 US. This transforms each stage in the processing chain into a crucial link that determines the value of the entire batch of goods. Just a few days after leaving the frigid waters of Alaska, giant Pacific octopus. They have begun a long journey of thousands of miles to major seafood markets around the world. In Japan, fresh tentacles are sliced and used to make sushi and sashimi in South Korea. They become ingredients for high-end grilled dishes, hot pot, and seafood dishes. In North America and Europe, chefs transform these giant octopuses into exquisite dishes served in upscale restaurants. Renowned restaurants, this journey has transformed one of the ocean's most mysterious creatures into a seafood delicacy sought after by diners worldwide. But what makes giant Pacific octopus becomes special not only in terms of taste, but also in terms of value. Due to limited resources, risky fishing practices, strict preservation requirements, and high demand from international markets, just about 6 tons of octopus that meet export standards can generate nearly $900,000 in revenue. More powerful and unpredictable storms also significantly increase fuel costs, operating expenses, and risks at sea. Ships now not only have to hunt for seafood, but also face an ocean that is changing year by year. From storms off the coast of Alaska to the dining tables of fine restaurants, that journey demonstrates the value of giant Pacific octopus. It's not about quantity, but about their scarcity, quality, and the challenging journey of bringing them from the ocean floor to the human dinner table. If you want to explore more bizarre and amazing secrets of the ocean, don't forget to subscribe to the The octopus hunt may have ended, but the process was far from over. Beneath the rocky formations ahead, another prized catch awaited, the red snapper. Beneath the ocean's surface, as sunlight is swallowed away with every descending foot, an unfamiliar world quietly emerges. At depths ranging from 100 to 650 feet, schools of red snapper silently cruise around rocky reefs and underwater structures, where darkness, powerful currents, and rugged terrain have shaped a resilient ecosystem over countless years. They rarely separate from the school. Hundreds, sometimes even thousands, move together in formations that behave like a single living organism. To reach a modest weight of just 10 to 20 pounds, a single red snapper must spend years growing, and that slow growth is precisely what makes it so valuable. Long before becoming hundreds of tons of commercial seafood aboard fishing vessels, these fish played a vital role on the seafloor, regulating the food chain and maintaining the ocean's remarkably fragile balance. Why does a fish hidden deep beneath the ocean floor attract the attention of an entire industry? The answer goes far beyond flavor. It lies in its rarity, slow growth, and exceptional commercial value. In the deep water habitat where red snapper hide, one question naturally arises. Why is this species sought after around the world? The answer begins with the extraordinary value it possesses. Red snapper is prized for its firm texture, delicate sweetness, and consistently high quality, making it a favorite in upscale restaurants from the United States to Asia. On the global market, it typically sells for $8 to more than $20 per pound, depending on size and freshness. Prices high enough to turn every fishing expedition into a potentially lucrative business. Yet its appeal extends beyond taste alone. Red snapper inhabit depths of 100 to 650 feet among complex seafloor structures, making them far more difficult, expensive, and dangerous to harvest than fish living near the surface. Every deployment of fishing lines or retrieval of nets becomes a high-stakes calculation in which fuel, timing, and technology must work together with absolute precision. The moment sonar locks onto the exact location of a school, every activity aboard the vessel immediately shifts into maximum alert. Everything converges in one critical moment. A giant purse seine, stretching hundreds of meters and weighing several tons, is deployed into the sea within minutes, rapidly expanding into a closed circle that traps the moving school below. Every maneuver must be nearly flawless. The speed of net deployment, the vessel's direction, distance, and timing are all continuously adjusted using live data. As the circle tightens, dozens or even hundreds of tons of fish are quickly compressed into the center. But this is also the most dangerous stage. A miscalculation of just a few hundred meters can allow the school to escape. A delay of only a few minutes can cause the entire mass of fish to disperse and vanish into the vast ocean. Out at sea, that seemingly insignificant distance marks the difference between a catch worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and an empty-handed journey home. Even after the net has fully closed and the catch appears secure, the battle is still far from over. The sea can overturn every calculation. Waves reaching 10 to 20 feet, strong winds, and rapidly shifting currents within just a few hours are enough to tilt the vessel, displace the nets, and put an enormous catch at risk of disappearing. Technology can guide people to the fish and optimize the process, but it can never conquer the ocean. That is the harshest truth of commercial fishing. No matter how advanced the equipment becomes, humanity must still confront its own limits against the overwhelming power of nature. At the same time, another method quietly unfolds, equally demanding: deep line fishing for red snapper. There are no giant nets or enormous encircling systems. only long fishing lines descending hundreds of feet to reach the places where red snapper shelter among the rugged seafloor. Every drop of the line is a precise calculation involving coordinates, currents, and timing. Instead of catching entire schools at once, each fish is brought up individually, a slower method that delivers greater value while demanding far greater skill. Whether using persiscenes or deep-line fishing, even when the catch seems certain, one variable can still overturn everything: the weather. It is an unavoidable reality. Regardless of how advanced the equipment becomes, humanity must still acknowledge its limits before the forces of nature. At the moment of greatest pressure, the decision is no longer about profit, it is about safety. Sometimes a single mistake in judgment is enough to turn opportunity into disaster. The instant each fish is lifted from the sea, its value enters a relentless race against time. Within just 30 to 60 minutes, natural deterioration begins, forcing every task on deck to be carried out with near-perfect precision. The fish are cleaned, graded, and rapidly chilled to approximately 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, because delaying for only a few minutes can noticeably reduce their quality. Once they enter the processing area, the vessel is no longer simply a fishing boat. It becomes a floating factory in the middle of the ocean. The fish move continuously along conveyor belts, where machines sort them by size, package them, and transfer them directly into deep freezing systems at -40 degrees Fahrenheit, -40 degrees Celsius. Their freshness, color, and texture are effectively sealed almost from the very first moment. Operating at capacities of 10 to 50 tons per hour, the processing line runs continuously, transforming creatures that have just left the ocean into standardized commercial products within only a few hours. From there, the fish undergo the final stages of processing before becoming ready to appear on dining tables within 48 hours of leaving the sea. The meal placed before a customer may appear remarkably simple, but behind it stands an enormous industrial machine where every second, every temperature threshold, and every decision helps determine the product's final value. This is no longer simply fishing. It has become a highly optimized industrial production system in which every decision is translated into economic value. Yet this relentless pace leaves a visible consequence. The ocean no longer has enough time to recover. As harvesting continues and efficiency keeps increasing, marine populations decline faster than they can replenish themselves, gradually pushing entire ecosystems out of balance. If you want to continue exploring the invisible machines behind the familiar world, join Go Discover and don't miss the next story.